I want to hear the Cookie Monster.
Cookie Arnold.
Cookie Monster Arnold.
Cookie Arnold.
Yeah. It's wow. For those of you just joining, we were talking Arnold impressions because of my Arnold tank top. I don't have my Arnold is the quiet, subtler, like kindergarten cop. Like, who's your daddy and what does he do? Like the quieter Arnold. I can do that one. I can't do the get in the chopper. It just sounds like cookie. That is all for me. Like it just kind of blends into the two. But Arnold as Cookie Monster in the biopic would be remarkable.
Eat these cookies!
When I originally auditioned for Sesame Street, I really had no idea what to do. I was just a little blue guy. And I saw some cookies on the table and went blam, blam, blam. And Jim's that guy. You know what? We need the Cookie Monster, and that's how he was born.
I love that. That was our cold opening. Hi, all you VC fun nerds out there. We're keeping that in. And welcome to another Grapple Gurus predictions video. You just saw a couple of us give our predictions for AEW's Forbidden Door. And now the WWE crew is back at it together again to give you our predictions for the upcoming WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view taking place Saturday, July 6th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Coming all the way to us live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We have 5 matches to get through, but after this previous week's Raw and SmackDown, I have gone back and forth with some of these because it's difficult. And where do we go from here? But if you are new here to our predictions video, this is how it goes down. Everybody has been given a Google form on our team to fill out either beforehand or as we go along with our picks in order to solidify. We are working our way to see who is the best predictor for WWE. And at the end of the season, which will be it's WrestleMania for WWE. We'll figure it out. We're going April to April for all the companies. So WrestleMania, the final the Revolution for AEW, and then Rebellion for TNA would be a thing. But anyways, so if you are new here, whoever has the best record will figure some prize to give. Worst record will find something embarrassing to do, but we all have no shame here, so that's
it's hard to embarrass theater people. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm not theater. I just have no shame.
Perfect. You're one of us. You're basically one of us. We can put you on stage. You'll be fine.
We'll figure something out. But the other thing here when we do our predictions video is the way that we go about predicting is we usually start with the match that has been most recently announced and work our way up to the match that has been announced the longest. However, we're going to change it up here and the order in which we are going to do these predictions, so that way you guys can skim around the video if you just want to get to those sections. We're going to start with our only singles championship being defended. Then we're going to go to our multi-person tag and talk about the ramifications of that. We will cover both ladder matches, and then we will talk about what's probably going to be the main event, which is our World Heavyweight Championship match. It is intense for sure. So let's get this out of the way. The first match that we're going to predict and talk about while making our predictions is for the Intercontinental Championship. We have our lovable underdog, Sami Zayn, defending his title against has been pushed up with a rocket strap to his back to get into this position, Mr. Braun Breaker, or Braun Breaker as we call him here.
Bronze Breaker?
Bronze Breaker.
I'm torn on this one because I think I don't want to say early because Braun has been putting in the work between NXT and here. So early is not really what I mean to say. As far as being called up and getting the push and then getting the championship within, I don't know, a few months? Old regime would absolutely do that. Vince would not care and just go, give it to him, go. New regime? I'm not sure. But then again, Sammy's had it. What does Sammy want to do with it? Does Sammy need the time off? Does Sammy want to try something different? So I'm definitely torn on this one. This is a coin flip for me, so I'm probably going to get this wrong no matter what. I'm going to go with my gut and say Sammy, but there's a part of me that thinks that they could absolutely just give it to Braun, which I think could be a mistake because you kind of write him into a corner if you do this early. But I could go either way.
Well, you see in a normal wrestling match, you have a 50% chance of winning, right? But
Are you gonna
Braun
joke
Breaker,
John
Braun
Madden me
Breaker,
right
Braun,
now?
Braun Breaker is a genetic freak. So in all reality, he has a 66.6% chance of winning. But keep in mind, you're in Toronto, Canada, right? And the money in an intercontinental championship match, which gives him even a better chance of winning. So in all reality, he has like a 77% chance of winning. So I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn has a 33.3% chance of winning here. That's right. We're dropping Scott Steiner because that's his uncle. Yeah.
I was like, is he doing his own version of the Steiner promo?
Yeah,
you just
that's exactly what I just did off the top of my head.
you went old school ESPN
No,
analytics.
I went old school TNA Scott Steiner math promo.
Gosh. No, I agree with you, and part of it's because of Toronto, part of it's because early. I mean, Sami Zayn's a genetic freak in a different way because you look at him and he looks like he's in shape and out of shape at the exact same time. Like you could be like, oh, you're an unemployed uncle, or oh no, you actually put the time in at the gym, but
Sami Zayn has the physical embodiment of an out of shape breath. Like,
but then does these ridiculous feats of strength and
Yep.
things in the ring that you're like, how
Yep.
do you do
And
that?
it's a brain buster on Gunther from the top rope.
Dude's a beast. So I think I think this is a hometown play. I think you give it to Sammy. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of storyline thing wrapped up in this and we keep going back to it. I do think potentially Sammy's going to get run. Like Braun is going to run those ropes and crush him a few times. It's going to hurt.
I am also going to go with Sami Zayn here, though I am excited to see Braun in this position a couple months into being, moved over to main roster from NXT, and he's getting a championship match. I'm excited to see where this goes, but I think Sammy winning here does make a little sense. However, my only issue is because before Chad Gable got murked on television 2 weeks ago by the Wyatt Six, I thought we were going to do one more or something where Chad's like, I want one more match and we're going to figure this out. And I was just like, because I thought Chad was going to be the one to take it off Sammy. Obviously, that's not the case after 3 failed attempts at this point so far. So I'm interested to see who WWE lines up for Sammy to do the IC title run. I could see a Sheamus versus Sammy happening too, because that title is the only thing Sheamus has yet to win in WWE. I could see them running it back with Braun again if Sammy wins here. Or if they really, really wanted to as well, depending on what happens with the final qualifier Money in the Bank, at some point I would love to see, a Sheamus is my top priority, or even if the injury is not too bad, a Sammy versus Ludwig Kaiser, or even Sammy versus, just throwing it out there, probably not going to happen, but a Ilya versus Sammy feud would be fantastic.
You have more places to go if Sammy retains.
Yes.
You have to shoehorn a lot of stories together to give Braun any kind of anything to defend, right?
Right.
But again, if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. So they could usurp this from us.
Well, no, because Braun's already in a storyline with like Ilya and those guys because he's just been wrecking everybody. So you can go straight from Sammy and Braun to Braun versus Ludwig Kaiser because they've been feuding. Or
That's
Braun,
also fair.
Braun into Ilya because they've been feuding.
Sheamus even too has gotten involved with Braun as well. So there are also options there.
There's directions to go with either one of them.
Regardless, I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I'm excited to see Braun in this position, but my final locked-in pick is Sammy retains here. Now, let's go into this 6-man tag team match because since SmackDown this past week with the funeral of Paul Heyman, I have gone back and I literally have gone back and forth because now I don't know who to pick at this point. Because originally I was going to be like, oh, okay, Cody, KO, and Randy are definitely going to win this one. But then after seeing what happened on this past SmackDown, at the time of this recording, we still have the Go Home SmackDown that we need to go over before these predictions. But this one's tough for me. But after going back and forth, and what I'm hoping WWE does right, I'm going against the grain that I normally am. I have picked the Bloodline to win this match. I feel like they kind of have to because they have more to lose if they are not the victors in this match than Cody, Randy, and KO. I'm going to take it a step further. I think Kevin once again is cannon fodder, and I think Kevin gets pinned. But I'm picking the Bloodline to win this match.
I think it's a Bloodline too. I think you have more direction if you do. I think that might be why we just had Cody, Randy, and Kevin attack the Bloodline so that we can kind of get heat in a different way. It's going to be filled with shenanigans. It's going to be filled with madness and things that should and should not happen. Some folks on the internet are calling for the return of Roman here. I don't think they pulled that trigger here. I think it could be another Uso. I think it could be something we're not expecting that interferes. But I do think that, I don't know if it's Kevin eating the pin. I wouldn't be surprised to see Randy or Cody eat the pin here. I don't think that makes them weaker in any way. In fact, if Cody eats the pin in here, then we have a little bit of a, hey, I should get a shot because I did
set up something between Solo and Cody for SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I do think it's Bloodline because they have all the angry heat right now, and you don't want to pull against that. And yeah, but again, I don't know. I was wrong a lot last time, but that's just kind of where my gut goes.
I can see either one. I can see them either pulling Jimmy back and having this team have the 7 win, the 3 plus the 4 voices in Randy's head, or they have the Bloodline win and just have the Bloodline dominate. Just have the Bloodline have the Bloodline continue to build as this even more insurmountable force. Like, even these 3 couldn't take them down. 3 former the current world champion, the many-time world champion Randy Orton, and KO, who's a former multi-time world champion, couldn't take down the Gorillas of Destiny, Jacob Fatu, and Solo. Because they're going to be involved. One of them, they're going to be involved in any way they can. So all 4 of them are going to be there. Do we have the Bloodline become bigger here and have maybe another member debut for them? Like, could this be Zilla Fatu's moment?
I don't know. It could be Zilla. That's really soon because he's still got GCW stuff to do. But
the other name is also the other name would be Hikuleo, which is the actual brother of Tama and Tonga too. The actual son of one of the other sons of Haku too.
How crazy would that be?
Like, there's a lot of direction they can go with. This is like the most dark match when it comes to who is going to win. Because this could be the return of Jimmy Uso, which then we can have Jimmy Uso trying to rekindle with Jey Uso, and this could be a thing for them to start getting pulled into the aftermath of the Bloodline to help with taking these guys out, or do just the 4 of them just wreck house and Jacob Fatu does the breaking Cody's ribs, going through a table and super kicking everybody to all high heavens all over again. So I don't know. This match, this is the match that I did pick the Bloodline. I thought the Bloodline, it would be the best for storyline purposes to make the Bloodline look strong here and have them win.
I wonder if they're gonna do the old school, their third person isn't here yet, we don't know who our third person is, and the match starts, and then at some point the 4th person shows up thing. That would be really interesting to me, and I wonder who that would be. I think you're right. It could be an Uso. I wouldn't be surprised if it's really at this point. I think it could be anybody, and I'd be
name is Samoan. It's gonna be Samoan Joe, the one Samoan.
The internet would snap in half if it was Samoa Joe. How ridiculous would that be?
Gets loaned over from AEW, and it's just that would be hilarious, but. Honestly,
It's like, joke on you guys. We actually have been making deals with AEW to do stuff with them. Watch this as John Cena appears at Forbidden Door.
Wow. As long as it's all bloodied up John Cena from way back in the day. Anyway, keep going.
I love this. It's funny because now the rest of the matches that we're going to talk about, except for maybe our main event, might be difficult. But I love that for Money in the Bank, as quick as this build has been, I was like, I really don't know who could walk out of here winning any of these matches. And that's a good thing. But let's now move on to the second portion, our predictions. Let's talk about these ladder matches. We're going to start with the men's first because in the last 4 years, and I don't care what anybody says, the women's Money in the Bank ladder matches tend to be the best of the 2. We're going to start with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So, at the time of this recording, Monday Night Raw has yet to happen, but I put in the option that these are the 3 people competing for the final spot. So one of these men is going on. But with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, for those of you who are new to WWE or don't know, hey, what's Money in the Bank? So Money in the Bank is a gimmick match that WWE has where it's a ladder match and hung above the ring is a briefcase. Inside that briefcase is a guaranteed main event championship match. So Triple H has stated, just like King and Queen of the Ring, the winner of the Money in the Bank contract will be able to challenge for the title of the brand that they're on. So Raw Superstars will be challenging the Raw champion, and the SmackDown Superstars will, challenge for the main champion on SmackDown. For the men, here's who we have, and I allowed my co-host to pick two because with these multi-person matches, like it makes the odds a bit better. But let's start with the men. So far in this match, we have Chad Gable, main event Jey Uso, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, and the final spot is either going to go to Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, or Ilya Dragunov. This one's a little bit easier for me to predict. My money is on either Jey Uso, like that's a big one for me. My second pick is actually going to go to Chad Gable. I would have picked LA, but I think Logan's going to get involved in this match and screw over LA Knight from winning the briefcase, which then sets up their match at SummerSlam. So I either have Chad Gable or Jey Uso winning this Money in the Bank for the men's side.
Interesting. I have Chad Gable and LA Knight. I think if you're going to pull the trigger on LA Knight, you've kind of missed the opportunity the last few years because you had other storylines you had to do. I'm not saying it's now or never, but you got to do something for this guy soon. He's been a workhorse for you since he got over on his own. He's done so much for you, and he's been screwed 100 different ways, and he's been a company guy. He's done, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. He's been a workhorse. He's doing this Logan Paul feud really, really well. I think it makes sense that he could win and then try to cash it in. I think it makes sense that there's meddling and he still wins and he cashes it in. So we'll see. I almost went Sheamus, Drew, Ilya because that's a way of picking three people at once and trying to see where that might go. But I think it's Chad Gable because I don't think they're done playing that angle yet. I get the feeling that, yeah, he's had 3 opportunities at that title. He might cash it in for something different. Chad Gable, another one who's been working super hard and doing really cool things. I just don't see... They gave Jay a little bit of run at some point, but Jay's sort of building up towards other things. Andrade, I would love to see, but I don't think they're going to do that. Carmelo Hayes, it's just too soon. Drew, I don't think Drew plays directly into this Money in the Bank angle, but he could. We also know he was trying to get time off and he just wants to murder CM Punk, so fine. Sheamus is a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong and Sheamus pulls it out and ends up getting in there. And I love me Ilya, but I think they're going to do something else with Ilya. That's just my hunch.
Hear me out. Jey Uso or Jey Uso. I think everybody else here, it's either too soon or they're tied up in another storyline. I think LA Knight just gets a United States Championship shot at SummerSlam and beats him at SummerSlam. As much as I would love LA Knight to win. The 3 that are still competing, it's probably going to be in Drew, or CM Punk is going to cost Drew the qualifier match, and it's going to be either Sheamus or Ilya. Those 2 probably not going to be in the match. Not going to win it. Like everything is pointing towards Jay to win this. I think the Wyatt 6 might stop Chad Gable from winning. I think one of them will pop up and he's going to flip out, have a PTSD attack, and not want to keep going. He's tied up in that story. I feel like that's going to be what he's going to be doing for the next little bit, is be tied up in the Wyatt 6 storyline. Carmelo Hayes, too soon. Andrade, dark horse pick. He's a dark horse.
I would love that so much.
Just slide in and maybe snap it and use it for a belt. I don't know. But everything is pointing towards Jey Uso to take it. He is by far... even right now, I think he's even bigger than LA Knight. He's one of the biggest baby faces on the roster on both sides. I think he takes it.
I don't disagree with you. I just think they have something else planned with Bloodline and stuff, and him having the case makes it messy and ties it up in that.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I think it sets up Jey Uso versus Gunther. I don't think they move the Usos into the Bloodline story until Roman comes back.
I'm not changing my picks, but you make a very, very good case.
Dash at Berlin is Gunther's taking the belt. We all know this.
Yes.
So it's going to set up Gunther versus Jay, and I'm hoping Jay doesn't do the face thing of cashing it in and saying, "I'm going to face you at this PLE. Get ready." And he does
Like, well, the last face who won this was Biggie.
right.
Biggie did that.
It's also been a while since we've had a face win.
That is also fair too.
Otis won it during COVID, but
then they gave it to Miz.
Right. So we haven't had a face win the Money in the Bank in a little bit. So unless you have the pseudo half faces like Damian Priest, but
you make a compelling argument. It's been a while since a face wins, but that is not the same logic that I'm approaching our women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because our participants in this, again, we got a good spread of faces and heels. So our women's Money in the Bank, the same concept. Whoever wins gets a challenge for a championship match on the brand that they are. Our participants are, which I was pleasantly surprised that they're putting her again, our 2023 Miss Money in the Bank winner, Io Sky, is joined in this match by Lyra Valkyria, Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and the final spot, again, at the time of this recording, is one more qualifier on Raw, where it's either going to be Zoe Stark, Dakota Kai, or Ivy Nile who's with the Creeds. I think that I love Naomi. My heart wants her to win so much, but I think that if we're going to do something, I think that having a heel hold on to the case in the women's division would be fantastic, especially since Bayley is a face right now as our champion, and she's going to be going up against Nia at SummerSlam. So as far as Miss Money in the Bank, my two choices is Chelsea Green. So I think Chelsea holding on to the briefcase would be fantastic because she does so much good character work. My other pick is Miss Tiffany Stratton. So I either have Chelsea Green or Tiffany winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then if Tiffany wins, you turn that thing pink.
I agree on Tiffany Stratton. I think that would be hysterical. I do agree that you get more weight out of it. At least we have the last few years because they like giving it to heels. Sure. I think Tiffany Stratton would be great. And just something that she can hold over the head of others. And then you can do anything you want with it, really, because everyone kind of hates Tiffany, but the fans love her. I think that's fine. I picked Naomi because I think it would be fun for Naomi to have it. I think you could do a lot with that Bayley angle. That sort of, hey, we're friends but thing. You could still let Bayley run championship for a while. You could let Naomi hang on to it however she wants to do that and get her get some play. I think that just changes in a refreshing way the way they've done it for the women in the past. I would love to see Io Sky get it 2 years in a row. I think that would be a cool thing for her to have on her resume. So I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if they went there. I think Chelsea Green would be fun because she's hilarious. So that would just make me happy to be like, oh, I get to see your storylines. Okay, that's cool too. Yeah, the rest I would not say no to any of these. I'm just sort of, yeah, you could give this to anyone here and kind of find the right way. I just think Naomi and Tiffany, you got more to write about. You have more to do. And I think creative tends to lean on that. Usually. We'll see.
There's one, I put him in there, but I think I might change it up a little bit on my original ones. I think Nia Jax gets involved, and I think Tiffy might take it. I want Chelsea Green to win. That's my heart telling me to win. But there is somebody in here. I think it's a dark horse. I think it's a dark horse I'm going to pick. I think Lyra Valkyria takes it.
That's another case, too, because she's been wrestling for 10 years, and it's only, she's not a newbie to the game.
I don't hate that either.
Well, you can tell the story, too, because Lyra is literally the pupil of Becky. Becky trained her.
Right, and they've been pushing her pretty hard. So I think this is her moment to take it and then sit on the briefcase for a while. Because normally the women don't, unless your name is Carmella, you don't sit on the briefcase. They normally cash them in within the next month, if that. So I think this is one of the few moments we're actually going to have somebody hold on to this briefcase for an extended period of time.
Which, if you're going to do this for an extended period of time, I think Naomi's a great choice too. Because you could have Naomi sit on that 100 different ways. You just got to make sure it's not boring. And Tiffany could sit there and just be evil with it as well. But
same with Chelsea Green.
Same with Chelsea Green. No, you're right.
Just be funny. So any one of these women, this is also a really hard one.
I would love to see Chelsea Green come out and talk herself out of cashing it in and be like, I'm gonna cash it out. No, maybe not. There's all kinds of things you could play with.
Right. So I'm gonna go with Tiffany. or Lyra Valkyria to take it.
I think, and maybe this is just me assuming, but I feel that the easiest pick that we can all pick in terms of who we don't think is going to win, or is at the bottom of the list, is I love Io to death, but I don't. She's at the bottom of my list. I was like, I don't think they would give it to her again.
I think she's just there for the high flying spots.
Oh, she about to murder everybody. It's gonna be fantastic. So now, let's also get it. So let's get into what is presumably going to be our main event. We have this World Heavyweight Championship match. Our El Campeon himself, Damian Priest, defending his title against a surprisingly returned from injury pretty quickly, Seth freaking Rollins, which was kind of crazy. And me and Senor Luchado talked about this over on Raw of how surprised we were that he returned so quickly. So this is another one that I have battled back and forth, especially since this past week on Raw, now we have stipulations added to this match from both sides. If Seth loses, the way that Seth worded it on Raw is that if he loses, he can never challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship ever. Not as long as Damian is champion, but the way that Seth worded it is that he can't challenge it, period, anymore. On the other hand, if Damian loses this match and does not retain the championship, then he gets kicked out of Judgment Day. And those seeds got planted so far in my brain because on this past Monday Night Raw, Damian told Seth bar for bar, for verbatim, the Judgment Day needs me more than Damian Priest needs them. Again, this is because of these stipulations, I really don't know, and I go back and forth with this all the time. But after thinking about this and the potential roads that we can go to, not just to SummerSlam, but into the fall, I have picked that. I can't believe I'm saying this because this is a tough one. I have Seth walking out of this as our champion again, only for him to lose it to Drew at some point or something. I don't know. I really don't know where we go with this, but I have Seth walking out of this as the winner because never challenging for that championship again is kind of a big stipulation. Because then if that's the case and Damian wins, then Seth is in the position that Cody was in AEW with the TNT championship, or no, for the world championship, where if he lost his match, he couldn't challenge for it again. He lost that match, and they wrote themselves into a corner because Cody couldn't challenge for the world title ever.
It sounded like he just said, I can't challenge you for that belt anymore," is what he said.
See, and that's the thing that I'm also thinking of too, that maybe that's what he implied, but the way that he said it, he verbatim said that I can never challenge you for it, period. But I'm going to change it up now that we're talking about this. I'm going to work under the assumption that as long as you're champion, so I'm going to switch it up. I had Seth winning. No, you know what? I'm still going with Seth. I'm going to still go with Seth because I think the fall of Damian Priest is about to become an all-time high, especially since Finn and JD are our new tag team champs on Raw.
And that's what I heard was the stipulation, and that's what pushed me towards Seth in the sense that they got to blow up the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley's out for a while. You've kind of written yourself into a corner with a few other things. The Judgment Day has served its purpose and has done great. If you break it up now, you have a reason to bring it back together as a face faction eventually, like a pure face. And I'm confused by the wording of what Seth said and did. I heard about this, and there's some other folks reporting on it too. What does that mean? What does that do for the title? There's no way they're going to have Seth never challenge for it ever again. No, they're not going to do that.
Because he said, I can't challenge you for that belt anymore.
Right. So that, I think what's more appealing, though, is Damian having to leave the Judgment Day. And then what do you do with the Judgment Day after that? And how does that play out? That makes more sense to me as from creative, but I could be wrong. You're right. Seth came back from this quickly. I don't know if it was paycheck. I don't know if it was, hey, when you're ready to go, come on back sort of thing. If they put the title back on Seth, I would think they'd want him to be defending it again like he was, because that's what he likes to do, is be that kind of champion. So I don't know. But I'm going with Seth, because it just makes sense to me.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going Damian. I feel like if they do this, that this makes Damian a transitional champ, and I don't think they see him as a transitional champ. If they Seth has been gone for not that long. He's only had really one real title defense, and that was against Drew. That got interrupted by CM Punk. So I don't think Damian drops the belt this quick. I think he holds on to it a little bit longer. I would love to see Seth take the belt again. I love Seth Rollins to death. I think Drew maintains the title for a little bit longer, and I think it goes for whoever wins the Money in the Bank. So I think it might turn into Jay versus whoever, or Gunther's going to take it. I think it's going to be Gunther versus Damian. Damian beats him, or Gunther beats him, and it turns into Gunther versus Jay.
There are so many ways that you can go into this. And honestly, like normally, this is the part where I would get frustrated because it was just like, because we have to deal with stupid storylines. But because of how things have improved, booking and storyline wise over the last couple months, I'm actually excited to see which way
I don't
they
think
can go.
I don't think they're going to give Seth the belt for him just to drop it at Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, I'm going to change my pick. I think it's
SummerSlam,
Damian. I think you're right. The whole I think you're right. I think the whole transitional champ thing speaks to me pretty well too. Not to be wishy-washy.
Yeah, I don't think he drops it until he faces Gunther at SummerSlam or Clash of the Castle.
I think you might be right, but this is a pick'em. I can go either way, but I don't want to lose and get punishment, so I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to trust Minnie, who's been schooling us the last few picks.
Honestly, this is the one match I was just like, it could go either way, and actually, I would be okay either way.
There's two. There's two. Both the 6-man tag and this one.
Pretty much almost. I've talked myself into doubting all of my choices. Except for maybe the women's match. I think the women's Money in the Bank is the most confident.
This is what makes a good PLE, right?
Yes.
I don't know. And even when we think we know all the answers, we go, oh, yeah, great. Check. And we get them all
how
wrong.
It was the old regime, because we had one of those where we got every single match right.
Yeah, that's the thing. But so both of you go with Damian. Right. I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go Seth to just be different. But after talking with you gents, I am super excited for Money in the Bank. And I can't wait for us to cover it next on Monday the 8th. It's going to be so good. But that is going to be it for this predictions video from the Wrestle Watch Boys, our WWE Grapple Gurus PLE review team. So let us know in the comments who you got. Let us know if you agree with some of our rationale or disagree. But regardless, we want to hear from you. But we got to get up on out of here because at the time of this recording, me and Professor have to get ready because we got Forbidden Door stuff coming up soon, which is also crazy. But from all of us here at Wrestle Watch and the rest of the BC Wrestling Pod Boys, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic. And more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. So until the next video, remember, adios, sayonara, we'll see you later. And Minnie, what else? Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.